Thank you for listening to my podcast. Like my page on Facebook for daily inspirational quotes with pictures from Indian country and for other podcast interviews with successful Native or Indigenous people. Hello, listeners. Thank you for joining me on 21st Century Native Leaders. My name is Peter Desmond III, and I am here with Randy July Jr. Coach July is coaching the EYG team. His team recently won the Southwest Showdown in Arizona. Thanks for being on the show, Coach July.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So tell me about yourself, your tribal affiliation, where you come from.
I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma, born in Claremore, Oklahoma. My tribes are Muscogee Creek from Oklahoma, and Kickapoo tribe of Kansas.
Nice. So how did you get into coaching basketball?
It's just something I've always wanted to do growing up. And then I started EYG basketball back in 2015 as an internship. It just started as a camp. And then it slowly grew into individual training for some young natives out there in Lawrence. And then it just grew into coaching basketball.
So I noticed you also played basketball. Where'd you play?
I played at Sterling College. I went 2 years there and then transferred because of the money situation. Tuition was really expensive. So then I transferred to high school. Had to sit out a year, and then I got to play my senior year.
Nice. That's awesome. So with that experience, any information to share or any challenges you overcame with that experience?
When I got to Sterling, it was a really eye-opener for me because I went to Tahlequah Sequoia. So it was an all-native boarding school, and then Sterling's really diverse place. It was a Christian school as well, so I got to dive into a little bit more of that aspect of the school. And I really grew a lot that year. Even just being a freshman, I really took off, not just as a basketball player, but as a person too. So and then it was really, really fun, just learning and growing as a Christian. And then after I finished my sophomore year, I ended up transferring at high school, and then high school, we know it's all native school, so it was kind of getting back to my roots, kind of going back there and sharing my stories about Sterling with those guys, with the Christian athletes that went there as well.
That's awesome. So back to coaching aspect. So I know I saw you won the Southwest Showdown. Any other big tournaments your team has won?
We actually won the Westmore tournament in Oklahoma City about a month ago. We took some guys down there, kind of combined teams with Team Diamond. We took a couple guys from their team, a couple guys from ours, and we linked up and ended up winning that tournament. It was a pretty good one.
Nice. And how do you select players for your team?
Normally when I do camps, I travel from all over, from Utah to Wyoming, and then when I do the camps, I do a high school division, and then I kind of recruit, kind of get the players I kind of want, and if they're playing already on a team, then I kind of back off. But if they're open and they don't have a team, then I usually ask them if they want to run with us in a couple tournaments, which is good because I can pick up a couple kids from Wyoming and a kid from Colorado or something. They can, people that never even met before, link up and, kind of go from there.
So whenever you're looking for these athletes, these players, what type of skills and qualities do you look for?
Character is big to me. I don't really, I want somebody that's good, somebody that can play, but at the end of the day, I want somebody that's going to represent EYG to the fullest. And, being a role model is huge for me. So that's what I kind of planted into EYG, and that's what I wanted to grow up to be.
That's awesome. And what are some of the similarities between basketball and life that you've gleaned from the game?
Just I used to always think it was about basketball, 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 and once I started, thinking about others, on the court, just like I do in outside of basketball, it kind of helped my game out a lot because I was worrying about, okay, how can I get so and so better? How can I elevate, my big man so he'll grab some rebounds, so he'll block some shots, and growing up, I've always, looked out for others. And, my mom, shout out to her. She's always, put that into us, my brothers and sisters. So that was just huge because I used to always, kind of be selfish when it came to basketball. I worried about myself. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go out here and score 30 points. I want to go out here and dominate. But once I learned how to play with others and make others better, it kind of changed my whole life.
That's awesome. And how important is the mental aspect of the game and teaching those skills?
It's huge. It's really, really huge because once again, growing up, I was just an athlete, so I was faster than people. Could jump higher, but once I learned how to, kind of push myself to the limit, not only physically but mentally, it just took my game to a whole nother level. And then once again, once I learned that, I just helped others, get there too. So that's probably one of the biggest things that I can take from my game that I'm most proud of is, being able to help others, elevate.
That's awesome. So, do you feel you are teaching life skills when you coach young athletes?
Oh yes, for sure. That's one of the biggest things, when it comes to EYG and basketball. Basketball you can only play it for so long. So, I got to teach these kids, hard work, dedication, man, will get you a long ways. It's not just basketball. With me, I've had plenty of injuries in my career. Um, what are you without basketball? That's what I tell these kids all the time. If basketball is taken away from you tomorrow, well, what do you bring to the table? So I always tell them, just like you work hard in a weight room on the court, you gotta do that in life too, outside of basketball.
Nice. Those are definitely keys. So, whenever you work with the youth, these high school kids and the middle school kids, what are some of the keys you try to instill in them for them to play on the next level in college?
I definitely tell them hard work will get you a long ways. Just because you're not the tallest, just because you're not the fastest, but you can always work hard. That's one thing everybody can do. Some people are blessed with height. Some people are blessed with skills. But hard work and dedication can really make you a better player just by staying in the weight room, staying on top of your book, staying consistent with your workouts on the court because a lot of people are not fortunate for those things. So it can really take your game to the next level.
Nice. I like that. So, what percent of your coaching is motivating student athletes?
I would say 100%. That's the big thing. I don't care how good you are, or if you're one of the weakest links, then it doesn't matter. I'm going to motivate you to get better. I don't care if you played your whole life or just picked up basketball 2 years ago. It's one of the things that I want to do is make you better if you want it. And it's one of the things. Another thing is that I'm just going to push you to the limit if you want it. If you don't want it, then I'll back off. And then, at the end of the day, you got to want it first.
That's awesome. So, whenever you work with the youth, and I'm sure you take your experience from playing as well, what type of training do you do with the students in the off season?
First thing I normally hit on is fundamentals. Fundamentals of dribbling, fundamentals of shooting. Before we can do all the nice drills everybody sees on social media, we have to attack those fundamentals and make sure we can do those first before I can put you in any one-on-one situations and tell you what to look for, tell you what to do. And that's key for anybody trying to develop is learn the fundamentals, learn how to attack off a screen, learn how to keep your elbow in when you shoot, learn how to, finish at the rim, just easy things like that. And then we can translate into some harder things.
Nice. That's awesome. Those are important skills on any level. So, what have been the keys to you building EYG to be successful in winning big tournaments?
It's really just my character and what I bring to the table. If I'm out here acting reckless, doing things I'm not supposed to, or supposed to do, then I don't know how many parents would trust me with their kids. So since day one, I've always wanted to be somebody they can look up to, somebody that they can try to be, not only in basketball but outside of basketball too. When we go on these trips, I'm always telling them life lessons. That kind of helped me through my days growing up and what I overcome. And if anything is possible, that's what I tell them all the time. And just because you're native, just because we're looked down on, it don't mean people's not going to look up to us, because there are people that look up to us.
That's true. I like that. I think working with any student, I think that's an important thing to push with our youth. So, what were some of the challenges you had to starting EYG?
Couple of challenges I had was, I'm really not a big name athlete. I didn't go D1. I didn't play professional, but when people see me play, they know I bring it every day, and they trust me with the kids. I know I started out my first camp; it was pretty rough. Um, just with not knowing what to do, how to do things. That was a big thing. And then after that, I went to clinics, seminars, just things to really help me get better at what I do, and that's training, and that's being a positive role model through basketball. So it was definitely rough at first, but I stuck with it and didn't give up, and wanted to continuously learn and get better at what I do.
Mm-hmm. So, did your success happen overnight, or did you have to grind for a while?
I definitely had to grind. Definitely, if it's easy, I don't want it. So I'm glad I had to go through it. I started out with training probably about 4 kids for free. It wasn't nothing like, hardcore workouts or anything like that. It was just some parents coming up to me asking, "Hey, can you work with so and so shot? His ball don't spin right." I was like, "Yeah, we can go to the gym. Come to the gym about 5 o'clock. We can go for an hour. We'll work on it." And then eventually, people seen the results of what I was doing, and it just took off. I went from 4 kids probably in the month of July to September. I had 40. Training 40 kids throughout the week, and I just stuck with it. I could have easily gave up, when kids were getting it for free, but I just stuck with it, and I love helping others. I love what I do, and it just made it easy.
That's nice. I like that. So, are you a nonprofit organization?
Yes, EYG is a nonprofit organization. Right now, we are trying to build enough teams where we can have K through 12.
Hmm.
Uh, as of right now, we have a fourth grade team, a sixth grade girls team, and a high school team. So eventually, we will have one of those K through 12 organizations out here competing, at the next level. So it's going to be fun to watch, and fun to watch it grow as well.
That's awesome. So, focusing back on the kids again. So, how do you get your team to buy, or your students to buy into the team concept?
I just tell them, every day you have to work hard. Every day you have to bring it, and I'm somebody you want on your side, because I've been through everything you've been through, if not worse. So they know they got somebody in their corner at all times that's going to go to war with them and have their back. So I think that kind of makes it easier, because like I said earlier, I kind of tell them my story. I kind of tell them a little bit about me. I just don't, get these players and be like, all right, let's go play. Let's see if we can win. Let's see if we can win this tournament and make EYG famous. I don't do that. I sit down with every player that's played for me and tell them a little bit about myself and a little bit about what I expect from them. I always tell the kids, this ain't just your average team. This ain't something we're just going to roll the ball out and play. We're going to learn, we're going to grow, and we're going to really develop team ball. We're going to develop into great people, and we're just going to go from there.
That's awesome. So, whenever you take a look at all the work you've done, what do you think prepared you the most to be a successful coach?
Growing up, man, I always wanted to learn, always wanted to be the best. It was nothing about winning or losing. I just wanted to continue to get better. I just wanted to continue to learn about the game. Which is crazy is I grew up and my best sport was baseball. I didn't. My third best sport was probably basketball. Second was football. And what I always took was from each sport I played. I just I found a way to be good at it. I found a way to try and dominate it. I tried to at the end of the day, I was happy with what I was doing and the level I was competing at. So that was never an issue.
That's nice. So how important is your native culture? Do you instill that in your players?
I don't do it as much as I probably should. Growing up, my mom was very traditional with our family, but she really never forced it on us. She kind of let us kind of take our own road. But Christianity is something we definitely believe in, and we definitely dive in head first. And it's really interesting because she kind of tied both into one. She didn't try to separate our traditional ways from Christianity. She kind of, when she tells a story, she kind of ties in both. And that was really fascinating now that I'm older to look back and see that like she did that, and I definitely understand both ways. But when it comes to my team, we don't really focus on the traditional ways or anything like that. But at the end of the day, if you teach on character and what you bring to the table every day, I think you'll be all right.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's true. Is there anything else you would like to share?
I'd like to give a shout out to my two boys, my oldest son, Jacoby Diami July, and my son, he just turned 3 yesterday. So Luca July. So shout out to those guys.
June 6th, huh?
Yes, sir.
Nice. My birthday was yesterday too. My mom took me out today. So
oh, nice.
Right on. So do you want to do a plug for your business for EYG?
Do what?
A plug?
Oh, yeah. Follow us on Instagram at EYG Basketball. We're also on Facebook too, EYG Basketball. Follow us. We'll follow you back. And thank you guys for the support that already are following.
Nice. And those are the social media platforms you frequent, and that's how people can contact you for a skills camp or any type of camps?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. All right, man. We are all set with this interview. Like I said, if you could send me a picture of maybe one of your teams that or a picture of yourself, that way I can put on the back of the podcast so people can put a name to the voice or a picture to the voice. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, man. Hey, well, thanks a lot for taking time. I know you're busy. You have kids and probably running around coaching as well. So, all right, man.
No problem, brother. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, a couple of days, and I'll let you know when I'm going to release it, though.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay. All right, man. Take care, man.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, bye. If you like this episode, please go to iTunes and give us a review and comment on our Facebook page. Thank you for listening to our podcast. We appreciate all the support you all give us. If you know of anyone that we can interview, please message us on Facebook. Thank you.